Hello and welcome to Cricketry on ThePapare.com. We are at the end of the second ODI between Sri Lanka and England, where England won the game by the Duckworth-Lewis system by 31 runs. They made 278 for 9 and Sri Lanka made 140 for 5 in 29 overs when the rains came in. Well, that was the final score and that was the result. But if we take a closer look, one thought that the Sri Lankans could have done better. Particularly, I thought the way the Sri Lankans fought, at one stage England looked like going over 300, but the way Lasith Malinga bowled and the way he got his 5 wickets, particularly at the death, was one of the positives that the Sri Lankans carried from this game, particularly Lasith Malinga, who has had a few issues in the last 1.5 years, not been considered. Some controversy that has surrounded his inclusion or exclusion for that matter has really put his hand up and has given Sri Lanka some hope, particularly in the death. So 278 for 9, though it wasn't easy on a pitch that was a little bit tacky and spinning, but it needed a good start. It needed a solid foundation on the part of Sri Lanka. Now that's what Sri Lanka lacked. They were up against Ollie Stone, they were up against Chris Woakes. I don't think the openers looked convincing at all. Well, Upul Taranga out of the very first ball with very little foot movement, just the angle finding the outside edge. And then Niroshan Dickwella was done by a short ball that bounced rather awkwardly, where he had no answer against the extra pace of Ollie Stone. But in fact, the way Niroshan Dickwella started with a Dill scoop, that was an astonishing shot, and one wondered whether that was the right way to go. Chandimal at 3 was also dismissed, but what was a little bit surprising was to find Dasun Shanaka been promoted in the order at 5 ahead of Dhananjaya de Silva. Now, looking back at the final score, had Sri Lanka been 3 wickets down when the rains came, they would have required 139 runs only, which means they were 1 run ahead and possibly could have won the game. But well, there are lots of ifs and buts in anything, and anything could have happened. But having said that, the Sri Lankans needed to really understand what their batting lineup, and also just getting back to the Sri Lankan fielding, what was disappointing was on a pitch that had some turn and that had something for the spinners, the 2 Sri Lankan spinners were taken apart. Akila Dhananjaya went for some runs, and then Sandakayan had his moments, did bowl in patches, but I thought the consistency lacked in both spinners. So Sri Lanka, that is looking to try and get their World Cup squad or World Cup 20 sorted out, is struggling, and Sri Lanka needs to come back strongly to try and give England a good fight in this one-day series. Let's not forget that England is the top-notch team in the world, but Sri Lanka's first priority will be to run England closely, and with it, hopefully, to try and have that settled lineup coming into the World Cup. So, at the end of the second game, after the first game was abandoned with just 15 overs played, Sri Lanka have lost the game by 31 runs due to the Duckworth-Lewis system. It would have been far worse, I can tell you, if not for Thisara Perera and Dhananjaya de Silva, who got together and got themselves in that partnership. So the cricket now moves to Pallekele, where the third and the fourth game will be played. Well, we do know that Pallekele pitchers will have something for the faster bowlers, so it's interesting to see how the Sri Lankan batsmen would cope with the faster England bowlers. But well, that is for the future. But for the moment, from Dambulla, it is 1-0 for England, with them winning the second game by 31 runs.